Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Lessons with Lindsey Live. It's me, Lindsey A of BA, and today I have another special guest. We are still well within Women's History Month, and I am bringing you a powerhouse today. This girl honestly was like one of my first unofficial mentors. Like, I love her to pieces, and I know that you will too. And I know that a whole bunch of jewels are about to be dropped. So without further delay, let me go ahead and introduce to you all Miss Christina Kanu. Hello, Noodle. Oh, technical difficulties. What are we doing? Can we see you? Can we hear you? Can you hear me, Noodle? There we go.
There we go.
Technical difficulties, but we back.
It is fine. We are back.
Hello. How are you? Please tell the people who you are and what you do.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christina Kanu, affectionately known as Miss Kanu, as you can see at the bottom. And I am the CEO of Christina Kanu Consulting. I am a business and brand consultant. I'm originally from Virginia, so shout out to everyone from Virginia. But I've lived in Atlanta, Georgia since 2014. I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, all these things. A Black woman. Happy Women's History Month to everyone. So Thank you so much, Lindsey, for having me today.
Yes. Can I tell you guys, like, my history with Kanu is, she taught me emails, okay? She taught me how to actually compose and write an email. She was like, we are checking emails now. And I'm like, who does that? But without her, I would not know how to compile a proper email. I just want y'all to know that.
I taught so many people how to write emails. Like, I feel like I was emailing in the womb. Like,
you listen. When you came out, like, look, we do emails. I'm like, do we? Do we have to? And you were like, yep, okay.
That's what we do.
And it's a skill that I have never forgotten and I use every day of my life. So I appreciate you for that. Let's jump into this thing. Let's go back, right? What was the aha moment for Christina Kanu Consulting? What was it like, you know what, I need to be doing this as a business? How does that happen? What was that conversation or that moment in your life?
So that moment, that's a good question. That moment for me happened when I moved to Atlanta. So I moved to Atlanta in 2014, and I was kind of having a little bit of I was missing my life at ODU. So in undergrad, I was president of damn near everything. I was always in meetings. I was always helping people do things. So when I moved to Atlanta and I was in graduate school, like, I was missing that. So, I was getting my master's in African American Studies from Clark Atlanta. But what I started doing was like personal development consultations and like leadership consultations, because I've always believed in helping develop people. So initially, that's kind of how CKC had started. But it was in 2015, at the end of 2015, where I realized, like, this could actually be a thing. So I decided in 2016 to go ahead and to launch my business. But the actual moment was the day after Thanksgiving. I was at my cousin's house, and it just came to me like, you know what, Christina, you're more than capable to run your own business. You have a lot to offer the world. So let's just go ahead and start this.
Yes. Honestly, like, truly, because you've been consulting and helping, like, you've done that since I've known you. I've never known you not to be helping mold somebody or bring an idea to life or help them step into the next phase of their life, whatever the case may be. So, yeah, honestly, you should have been charging a long time ago.
Right.
But we get there.
Like, had I known more about consulting and the path that I would have taken in life, I probably in undergrad would have gotten like a business degree or a marketing degree. But, my undergrad degree is in English, but I use that degree all of the time. My master's in African American Studies, I use that all of the time, especially because I'm primarily working with Black-owned businesses. So, one of the things I'll say to entrepreneurs is that you never know where your path is going to take you. And every single stop along your journey to entrepreneurship or to getting that aha moment that Lindsey spoke about is super important.
It's so important. I had someone ask me before, you went to school for communications. What job did you plan on getting with that degree? And I never planned on getting a job with that degree. I wanted the skill set.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be able to move in different rooms. I wanted to be able to speak to different people. I wanted to be able to, be understood across multiple platforms no matter what. So I knew I needed the skill, not necessarily the degree, but it helped, you know. But I knew I wanted to know how to speak to people in general. So that was my whole mindset. And that was a step that I needed to take to get where I'm at now.
Right.
So you can major in whatever your heart's desire is to major in, even if you go to college or you don't.
Exactly.
That's not the start or the finish of your story. It's just a stepping stone, and you use what you have and you keep on going with it. So let's talk about my buddy Jace, right? When you had him, you were already in business, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what was that transition like? What was that like?
Oh gosh.
Let's talk about mompreneurs. You know, let's do that. Let's talk about that.
So when I started my business in 2016, I was just an entrepreneur. I was living the bachelorette life. I had my diva headquarters in Atlanta, as I called it. Like, I could do whatever it was that I wanted to do because I wasn't somebody's mama. So if I wanted to work late into the night or wake up really early, I could do that. I didn't have to worry about feeding anyone. I just didn't have to worry about doing any of those things. But going back to what we talked about of how your journey, you never really know what's going to happen along your path. I had met my son's father in June, so a couple months after I had launched my business, and just, having fun, a very casual fling, which turned into a very permanent thing. And in October of that year, a couple weeks before my birthday, I found out I was pregnant. So when I found out I was pregnant, of course, I'm like, oh shit, like, how is this going to work? Because again, I was also still in graduate school, so I was working a job. I was just starting a business. I found out I was pregnant. Like, it was just all of the things going on. So what ended up having to happen is, because I've always been a very highly motivated individual, I decided that I just needed to continue on. So I was pregnant and still consulting. I consulted up until the point where I was maybe about 2 or 3 weeks before I gave birth. I gave myself, Jace, make sure you go back upstairs, sweetie. So you speak of him. Okay, Papa's gonna go give you a treat. Thank you. Okay, go get a treat. So, Mama ate this treat. Okay, go. He can give you another one. So it was a situation where. It's probably that man. Yeah, go ask him, Jace. Okay, mommy's working, sweetie. See, it's that balancing act.
Yeah.
So what happened is I gave myself a month to just kind of enjoy just being a mom, not worry about business, not worry about all of those things. But then after a month of giving birth, I was right back on the track. Part of it was because your girl needed to make money. Yeah. Having a kid requires that. So I would be going to consultations, breastfeeding Jace in between, taking him with me to consults, having him in my arms and on the phone. So really, I was able to evolve. My business as a mompreneur was able to evolve with him. So having to... Jace, go upstairs, okay, sweetie? And then mommy will give you a treat. So it was a situation where I had to evolve from having a newborn and running a business to having, a little, a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old to having a toddler. So as he got older, my ability to be able to do more and to do certain things got a lot easier. So one of the things that I always tell mompreneurs is it's important to integrate your kids into your business early.
Yeah.
That way they understand what it means to, okay, I'm working, what it means to, having to like multitask, what it means having to go to meetings and stuff, versus you always trying to pay money to get a babysitter to watch your kid. And that's money that could go into your business.
Yeah.
Because as women, especially as moms, like, we are all things. We have the ability to be all things.
Right. Now, listen, you heard the many started. Like, oh, are you on a meeting? Is this a Zoom? Sorry. And because she knows, like, and it's not to shun her or to push her away, but she knows now what it looks like when I'm getting set up. She knows what it looks like when I have a meeting. She'll come in sometimes and tell me, don't you have to go live? Don't you have a meeting? Tell them you have an LLC. And I'm like, what? Okay.
Right, because they pick up on so many things.
Yeah, and they pick up and they run with it. She wants to do her own thing. She wants to have a business. And it's like, when you are a mom and you are a boss, you already know how to balance. You already, because bosshood in general is nothing but a balancing act. It's your time. Yes. It's having the 9 to 5. It's maybe having a spouse or having a family or having. Right. It's always so many things. So it's never done. you know, and you have to just kind of figure out how to keep going with it. It doesn't mean that you love your child any less or your business is not as important. It's just all about balance. And I know for me, I had to learn how to get organized. You know, Aria was already born when I started Vision Driven, but I had to learn how to get organized because I would sit there some days and I just start crying because I'm like, I don't know which way.
It can be super overwhelming.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you have to give yourself grace and kind of figure things out, because I know, and you know, that getting organized piece, because for me, everything's about planning. So on weeks where I know that it's going to be a heavy consulting week, that means I might have to meal prep, or it might mean, sorry, we have to order pizza, or we have to do this or whatever. And before, a lot of the times as moms, like, we feel bad, like, oh my gosh, like, how, like, you know, my kid's eating pizza or my kid is doing this, and we beat ourselves up about it. But no, it's about how do you figure out how to do those things. I also, you know, my planner is literally my best friend. So I take the time on Sundays and I go through and I plan things. I plan time off. I understand, you know, hey, there might be certain times of the day that won't be really ideal for me to do work, or making sure that I'm spending time with my son prior to me getting ready to do a long stretch of work, as well as waking up early. I wake up typically, well, this week's been a little off, but typically I'm waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning so I can get about 2.5 hours of just uninterrupted work before the world, you know, wakes up.
Right. I'm still working on that. You told me to do that some months ago, and I'm like, whew.
It takes time.
Yeah, I can get up at 6:30, but you know, we're still working on the 5:30. It's a lot, but it is so important, and it's so important with business in general to be organized, to be structured, to plan. You know, it's not business is not something you can wing. I mean, you can, but once you get into
you can't wing it for long.
Right, it's not going to sustain itself if you wing it for too long. Big facts. Let's go back pre-Jace one more time, right?
Of course.
So when you said, all right, I'm gonna do this as a business, right? Did you have any idea about consulting as a business? Like, I know you had meetings with people and you would talk about ideas, pitch, and all this stuff, but did you know anything about being a consultant?
So early on, and it's funny now, and I joke with people that, you know, because when I first got ready to start, I was like, okay, well, maybe I can find consulting school or a consulting course or one of those things. That's not how it works. Typically now, because, and I always joke also with people, like, people didn't want to be consultants a couple of years ago, but now everybody want to be a consultant and everybody want to consult with somebody on something. But really with the consulting field it's about specializing in a particular industry and being able to give your clients expertise on that particular thing. So in every industry, you're going to have legal consultants, medical consultants, entertainment consultants, business consultants, brand consultants. Yes. Okay, that's fine, sweetheart. You can sit right there. You're going to have all these different types of consultants. So really what it is determining what are the best ways to be able to help people in that particular industry. So of what I realized, ain't no consulting school. I started reading some things, but honestly, over the years, I started to learn more and more and more. And the more clients I was working with, and the more, because again, before in the beginning, I made the huge mistake of, I just want to do it all. So I want to be a personal development consultant, which is very similar to like life coaching. I want to be a business consultant. I was helping people with events. I was doing logistics. I was helping people with political campaigns, because I'm historically known for being good at doing a lot. But eventually I realized, what the hell is going on? This isn't sustainable. I had a conversation with my consultants, Dr. L. Harris and Rashad Harris, and they were like, yo, girl, and this was a couple years later on, what are we doing?
Right.
Like, what is happening? What do you want to do? And I realized I enjoy helping people make money. I don't want to be a nonprofit consultant. They're great. And I understand some areas about nonprofits. I don't want to do personal development stuff because that's too life coachy and therapy for me. And I'm a very no nonsense kind of person. And I realized when we're dealing with money and helping people make money, that's just a lane which I love, I enjoy doing. And I think also, to kind of personalize it a little bit, Lindsey, as a single mom, I understood the importance of being able to bring in money into your household. I really got that. You know, I have a very strained relationship with my little one's, you know, other person. So with that being said, I had to figure it out, like, okay, I have this brain, and God kept saying, I gave you something, use it. Because or when after Jace was born, there was a time period where, yeah, I was consulting. I never stopped consulting over the last 5 years, but I can honestly say the last year and a half, I've never worked this hard.
Yeah. But that's real. And that also speaks to how business works, especially when you're stepping into something you've never done before. When you started out, you were like, I'm gonna help all the people and do all
Right.
and as you went on, you're like, you know what, this is not quite working. And you had your mentors, you had your consultants, and they're like, yeah, focus.
Yes.
Pick your area and stick to it. And that is so important in business. You have to pick your area and stick to it. Help all the people. Everyone is not your ideal client. Everyone is not going to pay your prices. Everyone is not going to want your service. Your personality might not match with yours. It's a number of things that could happen. But when you focus on your target audience, your specific niche, your thing, then everything else starts to flow because you know what, you're not for me. You know what?
Exactly.
I remember I reached out to you last year and I was like, I want you to help me brand me. And you were like, no, I don't do that anymore. And I appreciate the honesty because it's not, you're not my ideal client. And so, after the conversation, I'm like, no. I want to be the brand now. You're like, oh yeah, we can do that. That's
right. And it can be, I've been blessed to say that, especially in the beginning, a lot of my clients that I was working with were people who I had personal relationships with. So that was a huge blessing because that was helping me to build my portfolio of clients that I've worked with and to really build my consulting muscles. But one of the things I tell my clients is when you're really doing the damn thing, what's going to start happening is your work is going to speak for itself in a way that random people, you'll know them from nowhere. They're going to find you on social media or hear about you from someone else. They're going to go book your price and literally not flinch. So when I started to see that happening, I was like, okay, that shift made sense.
Yeah.
And it sucks, because Christina Kanu, the person, I love to help all the people do all of the things. And I wish I could cut myself into a million or, just multiply myself to do all of the things all of the time. But Christina Kanu, the CEO of Christina Kanu Consulting, realizes that there's only so much time in the day. And that's something I work with clients on understanding is you have to figure out how you're going to be able to execute and do all things for your business. Because if not, you're going to get burnt out. So the concept of in the beginning, everybody wanting to do all things, that's a very typical new entrepreneur trait of I don't have a niche. I don't have a target audience.
Right.
I don't want to cut anybody out. Like I hear these things all of the time.
Often, right? And I wish and I want so badly for people to skip over this phase because it's just like we're wasting time. You're putting out content that's not for one person, it's for everybody. So no one is really looking at it or paying attention or reading what you're saying.
They're literally skipping over it because people don't understand who you're talking to.
Wait, what are you doing? What is this for? And I get it. I've done it. There was a time where I'm like, yeah, all the people. No, not all the people. I love all the people.
Right. You can play patty cake all day with all of the people. You can brunch with the people. You can hang out with the people. You can literally do all of those things. Being an entrepreneur doesn't mean that has to usurp your whole life.
Right.
But when it comes to business, because even some people who I am close with, they're not comfortable with paying the prices. They think that we're going to really blur business and personal, and there can be a fine line, but I try to establish that from get-go of this is business, this is personal. Even when we're conducting business, we're not going to be talking about a whole lot of personal. We need to schedule time to go have brunch, and I know you and I can even speak to that of working with you. Okay, this is going to be the time that we're talking about all things for your business. If we need to chat about something separate, that's a separate text conversation or phone call for another day.
Right. Exactly. And I'm like, perfect segue. Let's talk about that because that is so real. And it's the problem that I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, especially new entrepreneurs, have separating the two. Your prices are your prices. There are no family and friend discounts. And if they really about that life and trying to support you, they're not going to ask for the discount. Right. And, being true to your business while being true to yourself. What do you think was how do you do it? Let's talk about that. So I know you kind of just went into it a little bit. You say, this conversation is not for this. Because I remember, I think you said it on Twitter at one point. It's like, we can't do that. We can't mix. And if they don't understand, then that's not your problem to worry about, but it cannot be mixed. So what does that conversation look like with you sometimes, like with your friends per se?
So I think for me, I've always, just in my own personality, I've always, people have been calling me boss lady for God knows how long. It's always been Miss Christina or Miss Kanu. And I've always been in leadership roles. So it was a little bit easier because people have always, even if you don't like me, there's always been that certain level of respect that I have earned from people. So I didn't run into it as much. I know for me, sometimes I felt uncomfortable being like, okay, you're my sister or my line sister or my best friend or my whatever. This is what my price is. But I have such a great support system of people that even when there were times where it was like, okay, I'm going to discount it a smitten. Mm-hmm. My friends or people I know, they're going to come to me directly of, don't give me any type of help. Like, I want to pay your price.
Right.
And what I tell people, though, people who I do know, when we have our initial consultation, our discovery call, they DM me, they email me, and I tell them the price, and they're like, hey, right now I can't afford to pay that. I let them know, you know what? That is fine. CKC will be here when you are ready and available. Exactly. If you cannot pay that price at that time, I have a plethora of resources. I have my podcast, I have my lives, go on my website, I have my blog, my social media. That way you can still be learning until you're able to get that. But I know for me, it's just non-negotiable at that point. Mm-hmm. Because I understand how hard I have to work to make every single dollar. I'm not a trust fund baby. No one, just gave me, granted, there were people along the way who helped so much, especially Ellen Rashad, and being able to do certain things for me to get my business off the ground running. But again, not a trust fund baby. I wasn't given $100,000 to go ahead and launch my business.
Right.
So I think also, Lindsey, for me, this became very clear once I became a mom. Because when you are not paying me what I am supposed to be paid, you are indirectly taking money out of my kid's mouth. Right. And that's a no for me.
Right. Most definitely. Most definitely.
That's not even a thing. And I tell a lot of mompreneurs, when you start your business, if it is taking away from your kid, or anything that is taking away time from, your own self-care and your child, it has to be lucrative or beneficial in some kind of way. Right. Even when it comes to dating. If I'm spending time with you and I'm not spending time with me or my kid, it has to be beneficial.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, because no, who has the time for that? Time is money. And if time is not money, time is love. And it's either self-love or love for the many, but we don't have that time. Time is not something that I can afford to just give out to people freely for whatever. And when you are in business, especially when you are self-employed, when you are the one that has to do the work to make the money, you can't play about the time. You can't, can I do this? And no. I'm not a credit company. I can't give you money on the back. You can't pay me in increments. Like, if I give you the service, you got to give me the funds. That's just how
right. And I think something else, Lindsey, too, is you have to be consistent from the beginning. Yeah. So what that means is it's not the job of your client to set the tone of your working relationship. It's the job of the business owner to go ahead and set that tone. So what that looks like is having your ducks in a row, having your website, not conducting business via DM. Okay, I'm going to send you an invoice, using my calendar to schedule. Like, you really having that language. Okay, hey, don't text me about this. Can you go ahead and email me about this? Once you start doing that, then people understand, they can sense, okay, this is what kind of time we're on, and they'll move accordingly. When you are like, oh, girl, let's go to brunch and talk about business, or, oh, let's go do this, and let's go do this, and, oh, just text me about it, or, girl, just DM me, or, girl, I'm gonna just give you whatever price. When you start doing stuff like that, then people are going to take advantage of that. And the other thing that's important too is making sure that granted, your clients, they might run their mouth and talk to each other, but explaining that what we have going on in a business relationship is what you and I have going on. Like, for example, my current clients are paying certain rates versus what my new clients are going to be paying. So I tell people, don't go run your mouth to your friends telling them what you're paying. Right. Because there's a great chance, unless y'all became my client around the same time, that things are going to be completely different because business is ever evolving. That's part of the reason. And I know you didn't ask for this, gem, but I'm very particular, and I tell my clients the same thing, unless it's a product-based business, of sharing too much about your prices on your website. Because people are going to hold you to whatever it was that they saw. I remember this one time when I used to discount stuff, I had a price on a flyer, and this woman, she was like, this is what I saw at the time. You need to charge me this. And I was like, even though this flyer is 6 months old, whatever, ma'am.
Right. Because if it's in black and white, I mean, you know, and you have to be very careful about that. So I completely agree. I used to tell people when I was making cakes, like, prices are starting at.
Yep, that's always a good technique.
My starting was bolded, okay? Like, starting at means starting at. This is the base. This is the bare minimum that you're paying, but there is a possibility that you will pay more.
It's gonna go up.
People will think, oh, $65 for a cake, and I want fondant, and I want sugar work, and I want this. Ho, ho, ho. You are getting into $150 cakes, ma'am. Please bring it back. Like, you know. But I thought it was $65. Not when you tap on things. And if you don't communicate that, if it's not written somewhere, people can get you. That's why contracts are so important. You know, written agreements are so important. You can verbally agree on something, and yeah, that's an agreement. You shook on it or whatever the case may be, but you can't argue black and white.
Right.
You can't. Right. You know, when you say, I can be like, oh, we're going to meet on Tuesday. And you're like, well, I was there at 2:00 on Tuesday. You weren't. We never set a time.
There wasn't a calendar link. There wasn't a deposit pay. And that's another thing. Early on in business, I trusted people because Christina wanted to be there for the people. I wanted to be the people's consultant. Realize the people will schedule you, not you didn't charge them a deposit. So they don't care if you are just waiting for them to call and they decide to go have dinner with Bay.
Right.
I could have dinner with my boo.
Right. If they're not paying anything, if they have no reason to stay obligated, they won't. And they'll waste your time. And that's the whole, you know, we are not wasting time anymore. If you were wasting time in the past, that's in the past. We are in the now. And now we are not wasting time. Okay. Make sure you get your coins up front. Something up front. And I tell people all the time that deposit is not refundable. If you need to reschedule, we can reschedule, but that deposit is non-refundable. Because I'm holding this date, I'm holding this time, I'm planning for you to be there. And if you don't come, I have to have something because you didn't come.
Last night I had a very busy evening in terms of client calls because I try to do no more than like a full consultation and maybe 2 free ones per night. And then on the weekends I can do 2. So very rarely am I doing 2 long ones. So anywho, I have 3 consultations, a long and 2 short ones. And I didn't have a chance to eat dinner before I did the long one and the first short one. So I had like a 30-minute break and I'm like, okay, you know, I'll just finish and eat. Called the client, no answer. Texted the client, no answer. Still to this day, no answer. And for me, it was like, had I known that that was going to happen, I could have ate dinner after I finished call number 2.
Right.
But those kinds of things is, you know, your clientele, and that's again why it's super important to understand your target audience and who you're working with. Because I know for me, in this particular juncture that I'm in with my business, I don't want to work with BS people who are trying to do business as hobbies.
Right.
If you're trying to do it as a hobby, because then you're going to be okay with, okay, I'm missing a discovery consultation with a potential business consultant. You're not going to care because you don't treat your business as seriously.
Right. And that's so important too. When you find your market, when you find your person, you find your ideal client, stick to what you know about these people. You know, you only work with people who are very serious about this business. You know that the people that you are working with, they're going to invest the time, they're going to invest the money, they're going to do these things. When you know who your client is, I made a whole little avatar for my ideal client. I can tell you her name, where she lives, where she works, what she like to do on the weekends. Like, I know who I'm targeting with my material, with my branding, with my marketing. Can I pick up other people? Sure. But that's my discretion. But the things I put out are for a specific group of people, you know. And then if other people say, "Oh, well, I can use that," that's how you gain the whole big client pool or whatever you want to call it. It's not by saying I'm for everybody. It's about being true to who you are for.
Exactly.
And then if other people see and they're like, you know what, I need that too, then they jump on. So you're a consultant who has a consultant, right? And I tell people all the time, like with whatever you're doing, you have to have a mentor. You have to have someone helping you.
Right.
I have a whole team of folks because I just know I'm gonna be doing a whole bunch of different things, but I need these people to help me focus here. Like, so I have a mentor for this part, a mentor for this part. I have a life coach over here. I got a brand
Right.
over here. Dot. So when I put my stuff out, we're not playing games. Okay, it's what it's supposed to be. Because I've asked everybody on the team if this looks like it's supposed to look. How important do you feel it is to have a mentor or a consultant or someone kind of there to help you along the way?
I think it's essential, especially when we're talking starting businesses, because a lot of what will happen is people, I want to start a business because I want some extra money, or everybody else has started a business, or I want to quit my job, and these are just a couple of examples that I receive from people. But you don't really know what it entails to start a business. Mm-hmm. So you end up making a lot of mistakes that you wouldn't have made if you had someone guiding you.
Right.
So especially as a business and brand consultant, there's times where I have to Olivia Pope a situation where a client is, you have to reel them back in, like, oh, you trying to do this? No, that doesn't make sense. Oh, you trying to do, no, we need to go in this direction. Make sure you have this, this. Or a lot of the time in the beginning, telling people no, like, that's not going to work. You need to look at it from this angle. Great idea, but here are the holes in it. Right. I think it's also important to have other people, whether they're formally mentoring you or informally mentoring you in your business, that are within the same industry as you. Mm-hmm. So I know that there's several people who are consultants or coaches or strategists. We're kind of all in that same family, just, cousins to one another, because there's just slightly differences. Right. And I follow those people on social media. I comment on their, on their stuff. I attend their events. I'm learning from those people, having conversations. Hey, what are your thoughts on this? Can we grab coffee to be able to have this conversation? Because that is how you also, number one, you learn the market. Mm-hmm. You understand. I know early on, I made a premature, mistake of, there's not that many consultants or Black women consultants in Atlanta. No, the issue was that I didn't do my due diligence of researching. A lot of the major business and brand consultants that a lot of people are working with, they're based out of Atlanta and Houston and LA and just certain areas, DC, like certain major cities. That's where they're based out of. But of course, Atlanta is a major hub for Black entrepreneurship. Right. So once I started to connect with these people, then I was able to learn more. I was able to understand my market more. And I also was able to understand, girl, you're charging too low. You're literally, because these chicks are getting to the bag. What are you doing? Because you need to up to and play catch up. Yes, sweetheart. Okay, not right now, okay?
Listen, I thought my prices were all nice. And then I met with you and you were like, more. And then I met with Rashad and he was like,
go ask Papa to get it for you, okay? Because mommy's working. Okay.
And then even when I met with Rashad, he was like, even more than that. Come on.
Right.
Like, hold on, I don't want to be banging people. He's like, are you trying to put out a quality service, or are you trying to be everybody's consultant? And I'm like,
exactly.
You have to think about it like that. Like, if you are of quality, if you know that you know what you're talking about, if you know that you put in the time, you've done the research, you have all the things going on, charge what you are worth and then some.
Exactly.
Because it's easy to be like, $50 consultation. That's what do you?
And the thing that you have to understand too is if you're helping people make money for their business, it cannot be cheap.
Right.
Because you're helping them make money. So they need to pay you to be able to help you make money. And you have to offer, the right types of products. Okay, go ask Papa to get you what it is that you're asking for. So sorry, y'all.
No,
it's one of those things of you can't be inexpensive, because it's never a good thing to be the cheap person in your market where everybody and their cousins and them are flooding to you because you're charging $2 for consultations. I tell people when I first started consulting, I was charging $15 for a consultation. what the hell am I supposed to do with $15? That might get me a nice little, a light lunch. That might put a wee little bit of gas in my tank. That couldn't even, $15 could get you a fill back in the day.
Right.
$15 can't do anything. So
No.
as I started doing more, and then also realizing I didn't want to service everyone, because if I was still charging $15 consultations, then it would be a situation where I would have to be consulting all day and night.
Right. Exactly. I had a friend, we were having a random conversation, and he was just like, "What's your hourly rate?" And I was like, $75. And he was like, I was like, "Well, so what's your hourly rate?" Just like, and he was like, $3.25. I was like, "Whoa."
Right. You here, wait 1 second, and then mommy will get you what you're asking for.
How did you get to that number? Like, where did $3.25 come from? He was like, "If I talk to you for an hour, I'm going to give you at least an idea that's going to make you at least $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
You can give me 325 of that $1,000 and still walk away good."
Yep.
I was like, touche. You can't argue with that. When you know what you have the skills, you have the resources, you can
exactly
do the things and then get it done timely, you charge what you're worth. When the people who need you, the people who really want you, they're gonna find those coins.
Exactly, because it might be a situation where you might not have, like, I know, especially with my business, because I'm gonna invest money into the business. That's never been like a huge issue and problem. So it's one of those things of, okay, it might mean that I can't travel all of the time right now. It might mean that, like, there was a time period because of mom life and business life, I wasn't getting my nails done all of the time. It might mean that I can't get my hair done all the time. It might mean that I have to cut back on certain things to be able to pour it into the thing, the engine that is ultimately going to make me money. People don't want to do that. They want to be able to do all things and then look at you crazy.
Right.
But when they're looking at you crazy, you have to understand what kind of work ethic they have and how serious they are about their business. So listen, when people say that the price is too high or they can't pay that, praise God, you did me a favor.
Right. Thank you.
Because I'm going to give you what it is that I'm worth. You did me a favor, because I could have been working with a different client who was a lot more serious. But here I am on the phone going back and forth with you, and my rate is too high.
Right. That's facts. That's real. Listen to me. Like, I'm still learning, just like everyone else is still learning, because like you said, business is ever evolving. 4 or 5 years ago, people didn't know about life coaches. People didn't know about consultants. People didn't know about any of those things. Now, you don't turn on any social media outlet without someone giving you, "Hey, real quick, my whole ring like this guy. That was fun. Hey, real quick, let's do this or let's do that." And Jordan, I have no idea what's going on here. We're going to keep talking. This thing out. And I would be like, well, why? I don't want to. Let's start over, because the light going out.
You're fine.
Threw me off. So what I was saying is, it's so important when you realize your worth and you charge those people, because those people are going to find you. They're going to pay the price. They're going to not complain and keep going. And like you just said, and praise God for those who don't. Because they would have wasted your time. You would have been sitting there exhausting your resources, spinning your wheel, trying to figure out and why it's happening the way it's happening. And then what? For nothing.
Literally for nothing. It's not even worth it. Because the thing that I tell my clients is, not all money is good money. Sometimes, people, sometimes people come and be like, "Hey, I really want to work with you," and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, I don't think you're ready. I don't think we're the best, most ideal fit.
Yes.
I take business incredibly seriously. And granted, I'm not perfect, and I have a long ways to go, and I'm constantly learning. But you can know sometimes where it's like, this ain't it.
And you can fire a client. Please don't ever think that you can't part ways with someone just because they pay you. Okay, look, we're going to get this one session out of the way. But after this, I really feel like I'm not the best fit for you, and go about your merry business. Like, you do 15-minute consultations, so you can very easily tell in that 15 minutes, we good. Yeah, let's keep going.
I start judging a client from the time that they book their consultation. I can tell based on how they answer their questions. I can tell how they are when I send them a text, like letting them know, "Hey, looking forward to working with you in a couple weeks, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah." I can tell if they pick up the phone during our consultation. I can tell how seriously they take things or how transparent they are. If it's a situation of, hey, I know what it is that I want to do with my business, or hey, you know what, I'm not going to hold you. I don't know what it is that I want to do. I can tell how quickly they pay their invoices, how quickly they respond to emails. Like, I'm constantly, and from that, over the last couple of years, I've been able to shape and understand who it is I want to work with and who it is it's a no.
Yeah.
I love you dearly, but you just might not be the most best fit for me.
So from 2016, here we are in 2021, right? What do you think has really helped you stay relevant over the years? What do you think the thing is that helped you with your longevity?
I think for me, it is that I've always been excited about my business. So even when things were a little raggedy, but also the thing too is when I launched my business, I had a website. I had taken brand pictures. I was talking about it. I wasn't necessarily going about everything the right way, but even when things were not as top notch as they are currently, I was always excited about my business. People weren't going to not know that Christina Kanu Consulting wasn't a thing because I was going to make sure to be that mouthpiece of talking about it. I also think the fact that I work hard and I'm very ambitious and I'm coachable. So I'm able to hear criticism about something like CKC. That was my first baby before I had Jace. So I'm able to hear, this isn't working. You need to pivot. You need to do this. I'm able to hear that and and just get in my feelings and get mad, because there's been several times where I have missed the mark in my business and I've had to regroup. I think also too, constantly growing in this with brand visuals. So how is it that I'm branding myself? Making sure, like I tell all my clients, it should be to the point where every single day that you're posting, have in your mind that I'm breaking Beyonce's internet or my corner of Beyonce's internet. It shouldn't be, I'm just going to throw something up there just because. It should be that you're carrying yourself a certain type of way, especially with consulting. And a book that I read, I didn't make this up, but your person, how you present yourself, how you walk in a room, how you interact with a client, that's going to be what determines if a lead turns into a job or if you get that account. If you don't have confidence and you just kind of, mellow and not excited and can't really effectively talk about your business. There's been times where I'm out, especially in Atlanta, we at brunch having a conversation. Oh, what do you do? What do you do? Then the mimosas have been flowing. Immediately, this is what it is that I do. Have to switch into boss mode. You have to be ready at all times to be able to talk about your business. So I think for me, the combination of those things have been why after a little over 5 years that Christina Kanu Consulting is still standing.
Yes, because if you stay ready, you don't ever have to get ready. Okay,
exactly.
Keep those cards on deck. Keep your power intro on deck. Be ready at any given time. My thing is memorized. It's in the back of my head. I can spew it at any moment, so that if I'm ever in a room and I'm like, you know what? People need to know who I am. In every room that you're in, people need to know who you are.
Exactly.
You step foot into it, you should be making sure that you're introducing yourself to 3 to 4 people. They don't have to necessarily be potential clients, but they could just be partners, collaborators, or whatever the case may be. They always expand your network. Always let people know who you are, because you don't ever know who they know.
Exactly.
What they can do for you. And if people don't know who you are, they can't do anything. Closed mouths do not get fed.
Especially not in this society, especially like how digital things are, and the pandemic showed us that. Even though I live in Atlanta, I have a lot of clients in Virginia. I have a client in Texas. I have clients in North Carolina. I have clients on the West Coast. I have clients in Chicago. Like, my business is just kind of spreading because the internet, everything is so digital. So you always want to present yourself in a light where people are going to want to work with you. And again, like you said, not knowing who knows who. I went to an event maybe about a month ago, and I was speaking at the event. There was a woman who was also there, and she had a fedora business. And she was like, I need a business consultant. We got to talking. That night, she booked a discovery call. Once we had the discovery call, she went ahead and she booked a full consultation. We've been working together for the last couple of weeks. And it's one of those things of and the person who hosted me at the event, I met them at my cousin's birthday party. I didn't know her from anywhere. We literally just started talking. And the thing is, because when you meet someone interesting, exchange Instagrams. Of course, business cards, cool. But exchange Instagrams, because usually in that moment, that person's going to follow you. And if your page is an accurate representation of what you do, boom, they're going to be hooked, and they're going to want to connect you to the people within their circle of influence.
Yes, listen, that was a whole hack right there. If you watching and you just heard that, you should be leveling up tomorrow. Like that was a whole that's the way to go. Make sure that your whatever visuals you have represents you as a person, your business cards, your marketing material, whatever it is, your website, everything needs to look like you. We can't keep hiding face. I used to do that. Everything I wanted to be super like black and white and super professional. And it's like, no, that's not who I am. I like colors. I'm loud. I'm out in your face. I like to talk to people and I like to give hugs. So that's what my website's gonna look like. That's what my pages look like.
Right.
It looks like love because that's what I exude. That's who I am. If your stuff is not matching, it's like, whose page is this? Like this, people they're gonna lose interest. They're not gonna like your pictures. They're not gonna follow up because like who are you? You know who you are.
People, they do my friend Brittany McKinnon, and shout out to B McKinnon and her company. She's so awesome and I just adore her. And I met her through one of my clients, who my client works for her. And something she said in her post the other day is the importance of being transparent. So yes, even though, especially those of us who are in branding, we're posting very professional pictures and our makeup is done and our face is beat and the hair and although you're posting those pictures, you can still be transparent in your caption. You can still be transparent in your stories. You can still be 100 and keep it 100 in all the things that you put out, because I'm quick to tell people all of the time, you know what? Some days I'm over it. Some days I'm like, yo, can someone just marry me and put a rock on my finger and just let me be a professional socialite and do nothing else? There's days where I'm like, why did I not become an IG model? Why did I not become a bottle girl? Like there's days where I have those moments where I'm like, this is so much work. And I'm transparent about having those conversations. I'm transparent about saying I didn't always know. Sometimes I didn't hit the mark, because I know that the streets are watching. Yeah. There are people who are your potential clients. There are people who are waiting to give you an opportunity. There's also the people who don't fuck with you like that. And they're just watching to see, well, when are they going to slip up? But if you're always transparent and you're, mindful, granted, not everybody needs to know all your business, and every single time you don't miss the mark, that's not their business to know. But if you are open and honest about those things, then people are going to be like, you know what? I trust giving coins to this person to invest in this business because they get it. I'm not just working with a robot.
Right. Exactly. That's big facts. Now we could go on and on and on and on and on, but what would you say is the piece that you want to leave the people with? What do you want to leave the people with as far as a nugget or whatever the case may be?
I think what I want to leave people with is you have to do the work and stop trying to avoid doing the work. Yeah. Like literally you're going to get irritated. You're going to get annoyed. It's not always going to be glamorous. You're going to be tired. You're going to be cussing. You're going to be crying. You're going to be mad. You're going to miss out on people's stuff that you wanted to go to or attend, but you have to do the work. And you also have to understand it does not happen overnight. Yeah. Just because you launch your business on Monday doesn't mean you booked and busy by Friday. It takes time. It takes time. And if you're not committed to the process, don't be committed to that check.
Listen, a whole word, okay? A whole word. Please tell the people how they can find you. And before that, are you taking new clients?
So I am. I have some new some new very large services and that I am launching. Okay. I'm going to be doing so y'all get to publicly hear it first. But yes, so a Lindsey or a Lessons with Lindsey exclusive. But yeah, no, I have some different packages and services that will be launching in the very near future. Very, very, very near future. So we're going to be doing some very exciting things. I'm super excited about the direction things are going in. Right. So of course, take a look at my page, follow the links. If you have questions, let me know, but I am taking new clients, but just give me a second, give me like a couple of days or whatever. But yes, I am taking new clients. I'm super excited. But again, I'm taking new clients who are serious about their business. If you're not serious about your business, then I'm more than likely not the consultant for you.
Listen, you know who you are. You know who your clients are. How can the people reach you? At Miss Kanu on all the socials?
Yes. So it is at Miss Kanu, MISSKANU on Instagram. MISSKANU on Twitter. On Twitter, I am talking about all things life, all things business, dropping, when the spirit gets on me, I just drop business gems just randomly during the day. Christina Kanu Consulting on Facebook, ChristinaKanu.com on for the website. And I also have a podcast, the Babies, Books, and Business podcast. So that is on all places you can find podcasts. And every Saturday, my clients have been keeping me hella busy, but typically on Saturdays, around 10 or 10:30-ish, I do Tea with CKC, where we are talking about a topic that is primarily pertaining to business and branding or to motherhood.
Yes. Thank you so much. I call you Noodle. So
Yes.
it just rolls out. Thank you, Christina, so much for this conversation, for joining us tonight. Like, I think that some gems were definitely dropped, and that people really take something away from this. Make sure that you all come back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. We are going to finish off Women's History Month so strong, and I can't wait for you all to hear about my guests for next month. Ooh, they're going to be good. So y'all tune in next week at 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Christina, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lindsey. I appreciate it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And, of course, follow me on social media. I'm looking forward to connecting with you all there.
Yes. Y'all have a great night, and I'll see you later.
Good night.
Bye.